to this moment, you know, but it's still major that I got that done.
That's Big U's son, Dion Henley, and he's revealing some disturbing family secrets. For years, the Henleys stayed quiet while Big U ran the streets like a kingpin. But now, with fraud charges, murder accusations, and even ties to Nipsey's death, it looks like the family is finally opening up about his dark past. Big U is under fire, and his own blood is making some shocking revelations. Let's get into it. Family drama as Big U gets locked up. The hip-hop community is shook after Eugene Big U Henley Jr., one of the most connected OGs in Los Angeles, got snatched up by the feds on some heavyweight charges. This whole situation ain't just affecting Big U. It's got his entire family, especially his NFL star son, caught up in a storm they never asked for. We'll get back to this, but let's check out what actually went down with Big U. Big U ain't just another name in these South Central streets. At 58, this cat has been playing both sides of the game for decades. On the legit tip, he styled himself as a community activist, founder of that Developing Options nonprofit for the youth, and helped launch some major hip-hop careers, including the late great Nipsey Hussle. But flip that same coin, and according to the feds, this man is the longtime shot caller for one of the most notorious sets in LA, the Rolling 60s Neighborhood Crips. The Rolling 60s ain't no small-time crew. We talking about one of the biggest gangs in Los Angeles, rolling deep with about 1,600 members. Formed in 1976 as a clique of Stanley Tookie Williams Westside Crips, these dudes got a rep summed up by their own saying, "You ain't a rolling 60 till you kill a 60. That's straight savage, showing how they keep it cracking both inside and outside the set. Their history is marked by some real grimy incidents, like the 1984 accidental smoke of Kermit Alexander's whole family, and the 1988 hitting of Karen Toshima, who caught astray in some gang crossfire. For years, Big U's been playing this double-life gang boss and community figure. Dude's been featured in documentaries, podcasts, on the grandma pushing that I'm reformed after my bid narrative, but according to the boys in blue, this was all cap, just a front to mask what was really popping behind the scenes. In March 2025, the whole facade came crashing down when the feds put the cuffs on Big U and 18 other Rolling 60s members and associates. The paperwork from the Department of Justice wasn't playing around, charging Big U in a federal complaint claiming he was running a whole criminal enterprise involved in all types of racketeering activities. This ain't some little legal hiccup. We're talking major federal charges that could potentially have him locked down for life. And trust, the charges didn't stop there. By the end of March, Big U was facing a 43-count indictment with everything from RICO violations to murder, kidnapping, stick-ups, extortion, wire fraud, embezzlement, human trafficking, and weapons charges. Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph McNally kept it a buck when he stated, "As the indictment alleges, Mr. Henley led a criminal enterprise whose conduct ranged from murder to sophisticated fraud." The wildest allegation in the whole case? The murk of Rayshawn Williams, an up-and-coming rapper signed to Big U's Unique music label, who was found dead in Vegas in 2021. According to the indictment, this wasn't just any random body. It was allegedly a calculated hit over a diss track. Let's break down what supposedly went down with Rayshawn Williams, this 21-year-old aspiring spitter who actually had personal ties to Big U. Williams played high school ball with Big U's son, Dion Henley, who's now getting that NFL bag with the LA Chargers. Williams was signed to Big U's label, Unique Music, and had been flown out to Vegas with tickets and an Airbnb all paid for by the label. According to the feds, Williams laid down a track dissing Big U, with bars that basically predicted his own fate, spitting lines like the bro that makes some money, and that he might get popped for thinking shit funny. When Big U caught wind of this track, prosecutors claim he pulled up on Williams in Vegas. What allegedly popped off next is straight cold. According to the federal complaint, Big U and his co-D Sylvester Robinson, aka Vay, drove Williams out to North Las Vegas, wet him up with multiple face shots from a .38, and dumped his body off Interstate 15, leaving him in a ditch. They then supposedly told studio workers to keep their mouths shut and scrub the security footage to cover their tracks. Williams' body was discovered near a Nevada landfill, about 4 miles northeast of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The Clark County coroner confirmed his identity and ruled the death a homicide from gunshot wounds. After Williams got murked, there were social media posts demanding answers from Big U, which he curved completely, making the whole situation even more sus. Rayshawn Williams' mom, Shadonna Brown, hasn't been quiet about who she thinks did her son dirty. In a statement on TMZ, she claimed Big U was the one who took her son's life and expressed she wants the system to throw the whole book at him. The case got even spicier, with allegations that Big U initially refused to give up his DNA for testing, forcing the cops to get a warrant. There's a video making rounds online with some serious claims about DNA evidence in the case. According to the clip, Big U's DNA was supposedly found on Williams' fingernails, suggesting there was a physical scuffle before Williams got smoked.
So they had to send a warrant to get Big U's DNA. You want to take a wild guess whose DNA came back on his son? Big U, Eugene Henley's DNA came back on her son's fingernails.
But the murder beef ain't the only serious charge Big U is facing. The feds claim he was running what they describe as a mafia-like organization from 2010 to March 2025. This Big U enterprise, as they're calling it in the indictment, allegedly used his status and gang connections to put pressure on businesses and individuals, including pro athletes and music artists, forcing them to check in for protection. Big U is also accused of running some serious financial scams. Supposedly, he submitted a fraudulent COVID-19 relief loan application for Unique Music, claiming his label was up $200,000 in 2019 when it actually took an L of $5,000, which would have made him ineligible for the loan. On top of that, he's charged with jacking donations from his charity, Developing Options, which was getting paper from the City of Los Angeles' mayor's office through the Grid Foundation, partially federally funded, and donations from ballers like Shaq and Draymond Green. The indictment paints a picture of a man who used his public image as a reformed gang member and community activist to mask ongoing criminal activities. The charges suggest that his nonprofit and music moves were just fronts for illegal operations, using his rep to create both clout and fear, boosting his influence and intimidation game. After getting knocked, Big U showed up in court with his hands and feet in shackles. He was ordered to stay locked up in federal custody until a detention hearing on March 31st, 2025. On April 8, 2025, he pleaded not guilty to all charges in a downtown Los Angeles courthouse, with his trial set to pop off on May 20th, 2025. Before turning himself in, Big U dropped some videos denying all the allegations, claiming they were motivated by racial bias and haters. In one video, he stated, "This is the price of being black, and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You just guilty because somebody else don't like you." His lawyer, John Targowski, emphasized that Big U looks forward to a vigorous defense of these charges and maintains his innocence. The case against Big U is part of a bigger crackdown on gang activity in Los Angeles, dubbed Operation Drawdown. Along with Big U, several other alleged gang members got snatched up, including Sylvester Robinson, 59, known as Vay, and Mark Martin, 50, known as Bear Claw, who are facing the same heat. The investigation, which the FBI started cooking up in August 2020, and then focused more on Big U's alleged enterprise in the following year, involved multiple agencies including the FBI Los Angeles, IRS Criminal Investigation, and North Las Vegas PD, showing how serious they're taking this whole situation. The upcoming trial, set to kick off in 2 weeks from now, May 6, 2025, could have major implications not just for Big U and his co-defendants, but also for gang intervention programs and how people view community leaders in Los Angeles. If convicted, Big U is looking at potentially life in the pen, while his alleged accomplices like Robinson and Martin are facing up to 20 years. When we look at this whole situation, we got to consider the bigger picture of gang culture in Los Angeles and how community activism and street life can get tangled up. The allegations against Big U got people asking real questions about the role of former gang members in intervention programs and the challenges of addressing gang-related crime in urban communities. Rumors swirl around Nipsey Hussle connections. Now let's get into the most controversial part of this whole saga, all the chatter and speculation about Big U's relationship with Nipsey Hussle and what went down with Hussle's death. I gotta keep it a stack with y'all. These are just rumors and allegations, not confirmed facts, and they ain't part of the official paperwork against Big U. But this talk has been all over the streets and the internet, so we need to address what people are saying. Nipsey Hussle, born Ermias Joseph Asgedam, was a beloved rapper and community hustler who got tragically gunned down on March 31st, 2019, outside his store, The Marathon Clothing, in Hyde Park, Louisiana. The official investigation pinned the shooting on Eric R. Holder Jr., who got convicted and sentenced to 60 years to life. The reported motive was some personal beef between Holder and Hussle. Big U and Nipsey had mad history together. Multiple sources confirmed Big U helped put Nipsey on the map around 2008, basically serving as his manager when Nip was first coming up. We can see this connection confirmed in a video where Daiyan Henley, Big U's son, talks about his own relationship with Nipsey.
Nipsey meant a lot to me, this community, to a lot of people far, how much Nipsey has played a role in a lot of people's lives just with the inspiration he provided through his music. Me, I knew Nipsey since I was yay high. My dad was actually his first manager. While I was in the backyard doing football drills, Nipsey was downstairs making music.
But like most business relationships in the industry, things between Big U and Nipsey weren't always solid. Word on the street is their relationship got rocky over some dispute about equipment at Big U's shop, which led Nipsey to drop a diss track. Apparently, Big U tried to have Nipsey disciplined for the song, but Nipsey's brother Black Sam stepped in, preventing any escalation, and they eventually squashed the beef. However, rumors have been floating around suggesting Big U might have had something to do with orchestrating Hussle's murder. These allegations allegations have been pushed particularly by female rapper SKG, a former death row artist, who's been claiming in interviews that Big U was behind it all, saying he terrorized the Crenshaw community and was on some violent stuff. It's important to note that these claims don't have any official backing, and Big U has publicly denied any involvement, specifically in a 2021 interview on Drink Champs where he made it clear, "We ain't got no beef," addressing the rumors and emphasizing there was no conflict with Hustle. One of the loudest voices pushing these conspiracy theories has been Charleston White, a controversial figure known for wild hot takes. In several videos, White has straight up accused Big U and the Rolling 60s of being responsible for Nipsey's death. Check out some of his claims.
Equipment out of the studio and wasn't paying that $20,000 to Big U no more. Nigga, everybody know that.
And in another video, White keeps that same energy.
Nipsey Hussle got smart and say, "Nigga, I don't wanna pay you $20,000 a month no more, nigga." And Nipsey Hussle come up dead. He lost his protection, and the hood killed him.
White goes even deeper with his theory, suggesting that Nipsey's growing fame created tension with Big U.
The little homies ain't looking at Big U, they looking at Nip, cuz. When Nip pull up in that Rolls Royce and that platinum Jag, looking with all that chain on, yeah, Nip was getting bigger than the set, cuz. And don't nobody get bigger than the set is what I was told. So they killed that nigga.
White even claims there's paperwork on conflicts between Big U and Nipsey's family before the murder.
All that's a police report, homie, where Black Sam had to pull a pistol out on Big U before Nip got killed.
I gotta emphasize that these are some heavy allegations without any official backing. The RICO case against Big U, while charging him with Williams' murder, doesn't include any charges related to Hustle's death. Eric Holder has been convicted of the murder, and there's no official evidence tying Big U to the crime. The controversy has had serious consequences for Big U, whether the allegations are true or not. In a video, Big U himself talks about how the rumors affected his paper and business after Nipsey's death.
About $3 million that Kanye West gave us.
Wow.
And then I had like a bunch of other different contracts. And for a nonprofit, we were really thriving. Then Nipsey gets killed. Right after Nipsey get killed, then the rumor goes out, Big U had something to do with it. We lost everything.
You lost all those?
Everyone, I tell you everything.
Wow.
Kanye stopped answering the phone.
These rumors highlight the complex and often shady relationship between hip-hop, gang culture, and business in Los Angeles. The entertainment industry's intersection with street life creates situations where personal beefs, business disagreements, and gang politics can get dangerously mixed up. Whether the allegations have any truth to them or not, they've become part of the narrative surrounding Big U and have affected how people view his character and actions. Looking at the bigger picture, what we see is a story of a man straddling multiple worlds: the street life of gang banging, the business side of the music industry, and the community-focused world of nonprofit work. This kind of double life isn't uncommon in areas where gang culture runs deep, but it creates complex dynamics that can be hard to untangle. The rumors about Nipsey Hussle also bring up questions about how power moves within gangs and the music industry. There's often a delicate balance of respect, money, and influence, and when that balance gets disrupted, conflicts can pop off. In Nipsey Hussle's case, his growing fame and success might have shifted the power dynamics in ways that created tension, though whether this had anything to do with his death remains speculation rather than established fact. What's clear is that Big U's rep has taken major hits from these rumors, even before the current federal charges. The allegations about Hustle's death, combined with the concrete charges related to Williams' murder, paint a picture of a man who allegedly uses violence to keep control and punish those who challenge his authority. But we gotta remember that in our justice system, accusations ain't the same as guilt. The rumors about Nipsey Hussle, while persistent, haven't led to charges, and the official story of his death involves Eric Holder as the only shooter. The Williams case, however, is now moving through the courts, and Big U will have his day in court to defend himself against those specific charges. The contrast between Big U's public image as a community activist and the allegations against him highlights something that's not uncommon in hoods affected by gang violence: the complex role of OGs, or older gang members who may transition to community work. While many genuinely reform and use their experience to help the youth avoid the traps they fell into, there are also cases where the transition isn't complete and old patterns of behavior stay hidden beneath a veneer of legitimacy. This duality is part of what makes Big U's case so interesting and troubling. Was he really a reformed gang member using his influence for good, or was he, as prosecutors claim, running a criminal enterprise while maintaining a facade of legitimacy? The upcoming trial will hopefully provide some answers, at least regarding the specific charges he faces. In the meantime, the hip-hop community and residents of South Los Angeles are left to process the implications of these allegations. For many young people who looked up to figures like Big U as examples examples of getting out the game and finding success after gang life, the charges can be mad disappointing, yet they also serve as a reminder of the complex reality of life in areas where gang influence remains strong and the difficult path to genuine reform and community healing. As we wait to see how the trial plays out, it's worth thinking about the bigger issues at play. The ongoing challenge of gang violence in urban communities, the role of music and entertainment in providing pathways out of that life, and the complex interplay of power, money, and influence in these contexts. The story of Big U, whatever its ultimate conclusion, gives us a window into these dynamics and the human costs they can bring. Tension as trial approaches. The streets are buzzing as the May 20th, 2025 trial date for Big U approaches. This ain't just any court case. It's shaping up to be one of the most high-profile gang trials in recent Los Angeles history, with implications that will ripple through the hip-hop world, gang intervention programs, and urban communities across the country. This is particularly difficult for Big U's family as more allegations and charges keep emerging against him. One of the most important family connections in this story is Big U's son, Da'Yon Henley. Born on November 18th, 1999, Da'Yon has been grinding his own path as a professional football player, currently getting that bag as a linebacker for the Los Angeles Chargers after getting drafted in 2023. Despite his pop's controversial background, Da'Yon has managed to build a successful career in the NFL. The father-son relationship seems to have been tight, with Big U supporting Da'Yon's football dreams while he was building his own empire in music and community work. In a video, Da'Yon speaks about how both he and Nipsey Hussle chased their dreams under Big U's roof.
It's always that he's going to be this big rap star and one day I'll make it to the NFL. Just watch your step. You're good to come down. Once upon a time, this was a studio.
What's crazy is there are connections between Da'Yon and some of the very people his father allegedly scammed. In an interview from January 2025, Da'Yon mentioned his relationship with Shaquille O'Neal, which was put together by his father. This connection hits different now with the allegations that Big U defrauded O'Neal by getting him to donate to his charity and then moving the funds to personal accounts. Despite the close relationship between father and son, Da'Yon hasn't made any public statements about his father's legal troubles. This is understandable. Da'Yon is trying to build his own legacy and identity separate from his father's cases. It's a tough position to be in, especially as a public figure in his own right. Big U's family life also includes his relationship with Stacey Henley, with whom he has 4 children, including Da'Yon. Together, they founded the nonprofit Developing Options, Inc., which is now at the center of some of the fraud allegations against Big U. The family's involvement in this charity was presumably with good intentions, aiming to help at-risk youth, but it has now come under heavy scrutiny. The impact on Big U's family extends beyond just his immediate family to those who were in his circle, including the family of Rayshawn Williams, the young man he's accused of murking. Williams had played high school football with Da'Yon and was reportedly living with the Henley family at one point. This close connection makes the murder allegations all the more shocking and tragic. Williams' mother, Shadonna Brown, has been vocal about her belief in Big U's guilt and her desire for justice for her son. In an interview with TMZ, she expressed her pain and called for Big U to face the harshest penalties for his alleged crimes. The anguish of losing a child is unimaginable, and the circumstances of Williams' death, allegedly at the hands of someone who was supposed to be mentoring him, only adds to that tragedy. There are also allegations that after Williams' death, Big U ghosted his family, despite their close connection. A video circulating online makes some serious claims about Big U's behavior following Williams' death.
Big U didn't show up to the funeral, never contacted the mother for any type of support, anything. Just blocked her and everything, right?
If true, this cold behavior would be particularly foul given the relationship between the families. However, it's important to note that these are allegations, and we don't have Big U's side of the story on this specific issue. Moving beyond the family impact, let's look at how the streets have been reacting to Big U's arrest and the charges against him. As with many high-profile cases involving figures from the hip-hop world, reactions have been mixed, with some writing for Big U and others calling him out for his alleged actions. On social media, particularly on platforms like X, formerly Twitter, and Reddit, we can see this divide playing out in real time. Some fans continue to support Big U, viewing the charges as part of a broader pattern of targeting successful figures in hip-hop. For example, on X, user at K1NDeezy showed support, saying, "This nigga Big U went down in LA, started to suck as a unit. Hell nah, free the legend. Another user at the Black channel questioned the legitimacy of the charges, stating, "The feds have officially come down with murder charges against Big U. They now claim he's on the run. I don't buy anything they say, but it shows the crusade to arrest anyone who's made any real money from our cultural property. Rap, hip-hop is subject to arrest." However, many others are looking at the charges sideways and condemning Big U's alleged actions. On Reddit, particularly in the R-Calabanging subreddit, discussions about Big U's arrest have been mostly critical. For instance, one user commented on Big U's alleged sloppiness in discussing criminal activities, saying, "Nigga was moving like Uncle Jerome on phone, making it clear he will murder people to the point it was periods in between each word." Another user straight up called him Big Useless, showing a critical take on his actions. The controversy surrounding Big U extends beyond just online chatter to bigger questions about the role of former gang members in community intervention programs. Before his arrest, Big U was seen by many as a success story, someone who had done his bid, reformed, and was now giving back to his community. His nonprofit, Developing Options, received funding from the city of Los Angeles and support from celebrities, indicating a level of institutional trust in his reform narrative. Now, with the allegations suggesting his community work may have been a front for ongoing criminal activities, there are questions about the vetting and oversight of such programs. If the charges are proven true, it would represent not just Big U failing personally, but a failure of the systems meant to ensure that public funds and charitable donations are used the right way. The case also raises tough questions about redemption and second chances. Many communities affected by gang violence rely on former gang members who have reformed to help break the cycle of violence. These individuals can provide credible messages and insights that outsiders simply can't. But how do we make sure that those claiming to have reformed have truly left the game? And what happens when someone held up as an example of successful reform is alleged to have been continuing criminal activities all along? The allegations against Big U, if proven, would represent a betrayal not just of the legal system, but of the communities he claimed to be helping. They would reinforce skepticism about reform efforts and potentially make it harder for genuinely reformed individuals to gain the trust needed to do effective community work. At the same time, it's important to remember that these are still allegations, not proven facts. The American justice system operates on the principle of innocent until proven guilty, and Big U will have his day in court to defend himself against the charges. His attorney has stated that Big U maintains his innocence and looks forward to vigorously defending himself. As the case moves toward trial, scheduled to begin on May 20th, 2025, we can expect continued public interest and discussion. The outcome will have implications not just for Big U and his co-defendants, but for gang intervention programs and community activism in Los Angeles and beyond. Regardless of the final verdict, this case highlights the complex relationship between gang culture, the music industry, and community activism. It reminds us of the human costs of gang violence and the challenges of breaking cycles of crime and violence in affected communities. And it raises important questions about trust, redemption, and the responsibilities that come with positions of influence and power. As we wait for the trial and its outcome, it's worth thinking about these broader issues while remembering the individual human lives affected by this case, from Rayshawn Williams and his grieving family to Big U's own family members who must now navigate the fallout from these serious allegations. Behind the headlines and legal proceedings are real people experiencing real pain, regardless of how the case ultimately plays out. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.